We're going to start off with an investigation. And what you're going to notice with this investigation is that we have this fancy little balance act going on here. And one of these old-fashioned scales, the way that they used to measure things is they would put weights on one side and they would put a product on the other side, and you would know that you got the right weight when they balanced out. So if that's the case, and there's 42 pounds on this side, what would X have to be to make this side also 42 pounds? I want you to think about that, and I want you to write your answer right here. Write your answer right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at what you wrote. And I want you to think of it like this. If a witch put a spell on the X, the spell is that it has an extra 17 pounds added to it. And we want to undo that spell because he wants to walk around with an extra 17 pounds, right? So we can undo that spell by subtracting 17, getting rid of that extra 17. And if we subtract 17 from this side, we would have to subtract 17 from this side in order to keep those scales balanced. So if we subtract 17 from both sides, then X is all by itself again without that extra 17 pounds. And 42 minus 17 is 25. So before that witch added that extra 17 pounds on, you were only 25 pounds. When we have opposite operations, we call them inverse operations. And inverse operations are operations that undo each other, just like we did with the spell of the witch. So the opposite of multiplication is division. The opposite of addition is subtraction. The opposite of subtraction is addition. And the opposite of division is multiplication. Please pause this and make sure you have that written in your notes. Let's see how to use inverse operations to solve equations. You have 3 equations. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a line down the equal sign. That separates both sides so we know where the scales are. This is one side of the scales. This is the other. We want this side to equal this side. This X, the evil witch casts a spell on it, subtracting 6 pounds. So now he's underweight. We want to add that 6 pounds back in order to counteract that spell. But remember, what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. And you have to show your work. It's not enough for you to tell me what X equals. I'm going to undo this spell by adding that 6 pounds back to him, which means I add 6 pounds to this side. The X is left all by itself over here, and we know that the original weight before the witch cast the spell was what? It was 16. We're going to check and make sure that our calculations are correct by substituting down here. So we said X is 16, so we're going to rewrite this, and instead of X, we're going to put 16. And we're going to check to make sure that 16 minus 6 equals 10. Let's see, 16 minus 6, yep, that's 10. We now see that we have 10 on both sides of the equation, so we know that we did it correctly. Let's try the next one. Again, we're going to draw our line down our scales. We're going to have this side and this side. The witch cast a spell on the Y, and the spell that she cast put an extra 13 pounds on him. He doesn't want to walk around with that extra 13 pounds, so let's take that 13 pounds away. But remember, what we do to one side, we must do to the other. So if we take the 13 pounds away from both sides, Y gets to go back to the way he was before because we've undone this spell. And so Y is his normal self, and we see that before the spell was cast, 45 minus 13 means that originally he was 32 pounds. Let's double check our math by substituting in. We're going to rewrite our sentence. We have 45 equals y, which we said was 32, so we'll put 32 plus 13. Let's check to make sure that we did it correctly. 3 plus 2 is 5. 1 plus 3 is 4. We have 45 on both sides of the equal sign, which means that we did it correctly. Let's try one more example. We're going to draw our line for our scales. We have the left side of the scales and we have the right side of the scales. The evil witch cast a spell on the K, adding 12 pounds. We want to take that extra 12 pounds away. We're going to take it away from both sides, remember? Because what you do to one side of the scales, you have to do to the other side to make sure that they're still balanced. 9 minus 2 is 7. 1 minus 1 is 0, so it's just 7 over here. We got rid of the spell by subtracting the 12, so the K is left by itself over here. And you can see that K equals 7. Let's double check our math by rewriting our sentence and substituting in 7 for K. So instead of K, we're going to put 7 right here. And does it equal 19? Well, let's see. 7 plus 2 is 9. 1 plus nothing is 1. So we do have 19 on both sides, so we know we did it correctly. You may skip these two examples, and we're going to go straight into the partner practice. For the partner practice, I want you to work with each other to solve the partner practice. When you are done, you may check and I will tell you if it's correct or not.